This fruit is part of a 10,000-year global journey. Let's talk about the history of plantains. So the origins of plantains go back to Southeast Asia about 10,000 years ago, and farmers then were domesticating these wild bananas known as Musa acuminata and Musa balbesiana. And that original Musa species in modern plantains is now a hybrid, so it is a Musa and paradisiaca. And then around 2000 BCE, plantains were thinking, I think we're quite amazing. More people should know about us. Plantains were then traded through the Indian Ocean route and moved their way over to Africa. And in West and Central Africa, the plantain became a central crop. This was not the kind of thing that you could eat raw. They're commonly actually known as cooking bananas. There were, of course, bananas, and if you want to learn more about that, I have a history of bananas episode. You can watch that on YouTube or available wherever you get your podcasts. Plantains were already thriving in Africa, but then through Spanish and Portuguese colonial roots, then also tied to the Columbian exchange. The plantains then were moved to the Caribbean and Latin America through the transatlantic slave trade. Now, because these plantains were now being introduced to different countries, different regions, they were being used and expressed in different ways. Some of them were very much adapted from African food traditions. So for example, in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, you'll find mofongo or mangu. From West Africa, you have fried plantains, commonly called dodo. In Latin America, you have tostones. Then you also have a sweet variation called maduros. In Southeast Asia, there's pisang goreng, which is kind of like a banana fritter. And there were a lot of historical figures along the way who were very fascinated by plantains and wanted to understand them, their species. And as early as 1753, Carl Linnaeus, a Swedish botanist, scientist, was like, I love studying this stuff. While his classifications later, in retrospect, were not perfect, he was the one who came up with the Musa paradisiaca. Paradisiaca was stemming from paradise. Now, these are not naturally propagated, so they are made essentially as clones. Because of this, they are very vulnerable. If there are any insects or pests that can spread disease, this devastates entire species. But of course, if you want to learn more about the history of plantains, you can tune into this latest episode of Sprung on Food. You can watch the episode on YouTube at the I Am Sprung channel or listen as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Sprung on Food.